And welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Daniel Hood Roofing. Did you know that no Knoxville roofing company has put more roofs on homes than Daniel Hood Roofing? Did you know that Daniel Hood Roofing won a Triple Excellence Award, which goes to only 100 roofers in America every year? If you need a new roof or a roof repair, trust Daniel Hood Roofing, folks. It's not just because he's on this show, not just because we know him, not just because everybody here, I think everybody's used him at one point or another, but because he's recognized nationally as one of the best roofers in the country. DanielHoodRoofing.com to learn a lot more about our friend Daniel Hood. All right. In case you missed it, Garth Brooks announced this week that he will be doing a concert at Nissan Stadium in Nashville on April 16th. Why am I mentioning that on this show? Because that pretty much puts the nail in the coffin of Tennessee's spring game. If it were ever going to go to Nashville, it was kind of targeted for that date. Now we know why it didn't come through. Because Garth was lining up a concert there. So it looks like there won't be an actual spring game, which we've discussed on this show before. At the moment, it looks like there won't be. My question is, based off an Adam Sparks column this week, thought was interesting with the Sentinel, spoke to a couple of coaches who made it clear, and they've made it clear to others, but the fact that they didn't really know what they had in Hendon Hooker because they couldn't see his full value in spring because everybody was in the no-contact jerseys. I read something this week or last week, almost the same timing, talking about Kevin Sumlin not knowing what he had in Johnny Manziel 10 years ago because they had him in a no-contact jersey. I get the idea of protecting players, but you don't do that with star tight ends. You don't do it with a star defensive end. You just do it with quarterbacks. My question is, and look, you know what you got in Hendon Hooker this year. Red jersey him all you want. But if you've got a quarterback competition, is it time to get rid of the red jersey and the no-contact jersey? Do you roll the dice? Because if you don't know what you got, that's a pretty big hole. If you could have started the year with Hendon Hooker last year, or if Kevin Sumlin had known from the beginning, oh, this is what Manziel is, maybe there's more value in the risk than in protecting them. Thoughts?
Agree 100%.
Do you? Okay.
Peyton Manning, red jersey. Hendon Hooker this year, red jersey. What you had last year, nope, let him play. I think you have to.
Especially you got a mobile quarterback. What do you think?
Which is the reason maybe that he didn't win the job, because you get a guy come in Milton who has every physical tool in the world and just looks great out there in his red jersey.
Yeah. Well, they said they didn't know what he would look like until he gets in there and gets hit and the pressure pocket breaks down. How cool is he? You don't know that if they've got a red jersey on.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I tend to say yes as well, because it probably makes the battle more competitive, right? If you're going full speed in everything that you do. Now, it's also easy to sit here and say yes. If I'm a coach, I might sit here and say no, because I understand the fear of if you lose one of those guys that competing, it hurts.
If somebody breaks an ankle, we're going to be the first one saying,
yes.
where was the red jersey, you
yeah.
idiot?
Yeah, so my initial response is yes, because I think it adds to the competition itself in terms of the way that they would go out there and play, but I get the fear.
I expected to be hit with bows and arrows. Well, just with arrows. Bows. So is anybody going to disagree with me?
I'm going to disagree a little bit.
There we
just
go.
Because, I mean, if you have like a knee injury, or if you have something major, or just kind of like a freak thing, I think you do need to mix it up a little bit. I think you do need to find out, and there's a way to do that. But I don't think you could go strictly just red jersey, no contact, blow the whistle quick, all that. But I don't want to lose a star player, what I would consider to be unnecessarily to an injury that could keep him out.
But until you know he's a star player, how do you find out in practice he's a star player if he's not playing live football?
If it's truly a competition and one of the guys gets hurt, that means you don't feel that differently about the other guys than the guy that gets hurt, so there's still other options there. So I don't know, it's one thing the star player give him, oh, you're afraid of him getting hurt, but if it's a competition, allegedly with 3-4 guys, then okay, one guy gets hurt, it's horrible, but we still have other options that aren't that different. I say yes, and it reminds me of Josh Dobbs, honestly. Remember Tennessee didn't know what they had in Josh Dobbs? Why is that? Because he made plays with his legs and had that spontaneity and be able to avoid the rush. Why won't you try to find that out before the games actually start. So I would.
You also didn't know what you had in Nathan Peterman because he wasn't. He didn't have the, he didn't have the
Well, and
pocket
and
crashing in on him.
Not to pick on Milton, but is maybe the same thing there. Okay, it's not live.
Right.
I'm thinking a little bit clearer. I'm not so amped up. My passes are better. I'm not overthrowing guys. So maybe it works. in
Expose
reverse.
concerns that you may not have. Yeah.
I get that the quarterback's the most important position on the field. And again, if you've got a guy and you know you've got a guy protecting, that's fine. But it is, if I'm a linebacker out there and I don't get a red jersey, it's like, wait a second. How come that guy is the only guy on this field that nobody can touch? I mean, it does seem, it seems like there are a couple of levels why I would say in a quarterback competition, hey, you're live. And we're not going to get you killed. No, we don't want anybody diving for knees out here, but it's going to be live. You're not getting the red jersey. That would be how I would handle it. And as soon as they do that and they lose a guy, I will be right here to hammer them for them. The other thing you look at, Chuck, and when you're looking at a quarterback competition, you go to the roster and you see, where's he from? Carrollton, Georgia. When we come back, the major conferences aren't playing nice together. They blew up the college football playoff expansion idea, and there's been a lot of reaction to that. Greg Sankey's apparently mad. How mad? Might we have a playoff for spite? I love it. Come on back.